I've never been a huge fan of racing games. That is until about 3 years ago when I played Forza Horizon 3 for the first time. I loved the game's open world, fun showcase events, and it always felt like there was something to do. I was bad at it, and for the most part still am, but it was the most fun I've ever had with a racing game. That brings us to the newest entry in the series, Forza Horizon 5. In Horizon 5, you'll be spending your time in Playground's take on Mexico. It's a huge world measuring 41 square miles compared to Horizon 4's 27. Not only is it larger on paper, but it really does feel bigger and better. Nothing shows this better than the Goliath event, taking you from one end of the map to the other, and it takes at least 10 minutes to complete. Along with this larger map, it also brings diversity, from big city streets to jungles, volcanoes, deserts, and even more. This is easily my favorite setting of any Forza game so far. What will you be doing in this big old Forza map, you might ask yourself? Well, that's one area that Forza has always shined, and this game is no different. You have so many different options available depending on what you want out of the game. You can do showcase events, story missions, street races, off-road races, sprints, speed traps, drifting, danger zones, and trying to drive on every single road in the game because somehow that makes your dumb meat brain very happy, just to name a few. Forza is a game that I can play and have a wonderful time for an hour or more without ever doing an actual event. When it comes to the cars, Horizon pretty much throws them all at you from the get-go. You want a supercar? Bam, you got it. You want an off-road vehicle? Bam, you got that too. The only cars that are out of reach at the beginning are absurdly expensive. For some people, I'm sure that's not as enjoyable because there really isn't a good sense of progression when it comes to the cars. I've been using the same BMW almost the entire game, and I really don't have a reason to change. For me personally, it doesn't really bother me. I like that from the beginning of Horizon, it lets you play how you want to play. That's not to say that there isn't any sense of progression, mind you, it just comes in different ways. Instead of slowly working your way to a supercar, you're trying to 3-star events, buy houses around the map, and expand your festival. I love how this game does its festival system, allowing you to choose which area you go to next and what events you want. For instance, I went for the speed traps and danger signs right away because those are my favorite things. But if you wanted street races, you could go down that path from the beginning and not touch the speed traps or danger signs until the end. Something that has changed from the previous iteration is the seasonal changes. In Horizon 4, the seasons were drastically different, which was fun sometimes. However, it did make certain vehicles, say a supercar in winter, much more difficult to drive. Horizon 5 chooses to take a tamer approach with seasonal events instead. I, for one, think this is a great choice. Still giving the game the occasional change and new things to do, but not making it so a certain type of car is almost unusable for a period of time. When trying to write this review, I kept running into a problem. When trying to describe Horizon 5, I kept going back to the same description. It's like the other Forza games. From the rewind mechanic to the missions and races, there's not much here that hasn't already been present in other Forza games, except your character talks now. That feeling runs throughout the entirety of the newest game in the series. And honestly, it's not necessarily a bad thing, as long as that's what you're expecting, more Forza. If that's what you're expecting, more Forza, then this is an amazing game, and if you haven't ever tried one before, I would strongly suggest giving this one a shot.